Hey, what's up, Bayou Church? This is Pastor Griff, and we're in a series right now called By Design, Living in God's Freedom for Sex and Identity. And we told you to ask questions regarding the series, and your questions have come in, and I want to take some time to answer one right now. And let's just get to it. Here's the first question that we're going to look at, and it is simply this: how do we overcome lack of sexual desire for our spouse after a checkered sexual past? And that's a great question, because we're always trying to recover from the things that we've done so that we can be restored to pursue something better. And so in your marriage, whether you're a woman or a man and you're struggling with this, chances are that your past is haunting you. Your shame is trying to root you into that brokenness. And now you feel bad, but then all of a sudden that desire is no longer there. It's kind of like a phone. Like if you notice towards the end of your day, or even in the first few hours of your day, for me, you look down, your phone's on 1%, and you're like, bro, I got to find a charger. And you try to find a charger, you plug it in, and then with the new chargers they got nowadays, it charges really, really fast. But here's what I wrote down. You need a charger that actually restores and not drains power, right? And so it's the same thing with the gospel. The gospel is your recharge that you need since your sexual past has drained your soul. And here's the reality of the gospel of grace is that Paul, as he writes to the church of Corinth, he says this. This is one of my favorite verses. It's probably the third or fourth verse that I memorized when I was a teenager, is that he who is in Christ is a new creation. In other words, when you're reborn in Jesus and you're saved by grace, he now makes you new. You go through this metamorphosis where you are regenerated into a new person. So he who is in Christ is a new creation. And here's the beauty. The old is gone and the new has come. Behold, the new has come. So restoration is possible. It is. Once you kind of deconstruct some of the things you've been through and process those things, now it's time to move forward because you're a new creation. And here's a few principles I want you to understand when it comes to this charger and how sexual sin can drain us. Is that shame drains, but grace is the thing that recharges and restores and renews. Shame, it drains you because, like I said this past week, it roots your identity and I am this. But grace restores, renews, and it revives your soul. Like your past mistakes, yes, they don't just disappear. And shame tries to keep them alive, but shame drains while grace charges. You may feel it at 1%, but Jesus doesn't throw you away. He gives you this brand new battery, this brand new life, and he supercharges you with the Spirit. The second thing is understand this too. When you're trying to find that intimacy, a road back to intimacy with your spouse, number two is love is a choice before it's a feeling. Like forget all those Lifetime movies, forget all those Hallmark movies. Love is not a feeling, it's a choice. It doesn't mean you can't have butterflies for your girl or for your boo. What it means is that love is this covenantal choice. When you plug into the vows that you made before God and your spouse, it's a renewing of that every single day. I tell couples in counseling, in premarital counseling, like love is the thing that you got to wake up tomorrow and choose to decide to do again. Love is a choice. And here's the third thing, and this is the beauty of grace, is your history doesn't have the final word. Remember, I said it this past Sunday, that there's more grace in Jesus than there is sin in you. So your history does not have to have the final word. Believe that. Marinate on that. Walk in that. And in Christ, desire can be redeemed, and intimacy can be restored, and marriage can flourish again. And shame drains you. Shame drains you, but grace recharges your soul. Love is a choice before it's a feeling, and your history does not have to have the final word. But let me give you three handles. If you're watching this and you're struggling, or you want to give this to somebody else, let me give you three things. Number one, how do you rebuild desire after this checkered past? Well, here's three things that I wrote down. Number one is you need to pray honestly. Pray honestly. I said this past Sunday, you don't heal unless you're honest. So you need to get on your face, get on your knees. Don't pray, Lord, fix me. Say, Lord, renew the desire that I have for my spouse, creating me that love again. The Psalm says, or the proverb says that, hey, man, he will give you the desires of your heart. And imagine if the desire of your heart is for you to love the spouse that you committed to her in front of God in. Pray. Number two, date your spouse on purpose. Nobody ever drifts into devotion. You decide into devotion. So you got to go after your spouse. Date them. Desire is stirred by pursuit. God, or go back to what you did at first, intentional dates, laughter, small gestures. You see, romance is not automatic. It is cultivated over time. Think spark logs. That's another thing I wrote down. It's like these little actions that keep the fire burning, keep the fire burning. And number 3, I would say this is guard the inputs. And in other words, like starve distractions, starve lust, starve comparisons, unfollow people, delete, block. Make sure that nothing from your past is in front of you. I realize we got this Rolodex in our brains that can kind of bring things to the forefront. But if there is anything that is triggering you, kill the cub before it becomes a lion. Kill the cub before it becomes a lion. Guard the inputs. Your mind is the thermostat. So you need to set it for your spouse. You need to set it for your spouse. And so if you ask this question, and this is an ongoing struggle, here's some handles that you can think about. Shame is the thing that drains you, but grace is the thing that recharges, renews, and restores. Love is a choice before it is a feeling. And here's the reality that your history doesn't have the final say. So get before the Lord and pray, God, give me my desire so I can be intimate with my spouse again. And then date your spouse on purpose. Love is a choice. Agape is unconditional love, and it's not based on our feelings. But I guarantee this, the more you stir that flame, the more you continue to rekindle it, you'll burn for your spouse again. And number 3, guard the inputs. If anything from the past is checking you in your mind and is trying to destroy you, maybe that's counseling. But remember, if self is the problem, self can't be the solution. So utilize those tools to get your mind right. But remember that true restoration is going to come from the gospel and grace of Jesus. Hey, I love you. That was a great question. And I hope that's helpful. And remember, it's not even just the restoration is not even just going to come from this answer, but it's going to be a process that you choose to do over time. And here's what's so cool. Because you're that new creation in Jesus, he's going to work on you and do divine surgery on you in such a way that it transforms your marriage. I hope that is helpful. Thanks so much for being honest and bold.